I'm Kyle Cornell.
Filling your news feed with the top trending news at the top and bottom of the hour. Columbus's news is on News Radio 610 WTBN.
You only want to use the best route to drive across town, so do the same when you need to hire. Indeed provides hiring managers the straightest path to the best new employees. Customized solutions like screener questions and skills tests will help you see beyond the resume. Post your next job at Indeed.com/hire.
Does joint or arthritis pain keep you from the activities you love to do? If so, then you need to try my new clinically tested patented product. I'm Hank Haney, and last year my Voodoo Pain Relief Cream helped over 50,000 people feel better. Now, how did my little company reach so many people? It wasn't hard because word of mouth is powerful, especially if something works better than anything else on the market. I know everyone is skeptical of trying new remedies, so I'm going to make it real easy for you to try my Voodoo Pain Relief Cream. For the next 100 customers, I'm offering you your first 2-week supply of Voodoo Pain Relief Cream absolutely free. Just go to voodoopainrelief.com right now to order your free 2-week supply, and you'll find out why people say Voodoo Pain Relief Cream is by far the best product they have ever used. Go to voodoopainrelief.com right now.
Live from LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Good afternoon. Welcome to On Target. We're broadcasting live for the first time in 2020. Actually, the first time in this decade.
Yeah, how about that?
From the studios of LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility that's located at 999 Bethel Road. I'm your host, Eric, along with my father, co-owner Phil, who sits to my left. All I got to say, guys, is, Papa, did you see this? Huh?
Did you see me working? Wait a minute. Wait. Did you see me working on the doors around here, making them wider for your head? Mm-hmm. Got to make your head.
Look at that. That is a large picture of you on the front page.
I mean,
of the
I don't want to get
Dispatch.
out the ruler or nothing, but I'm saying like that's 2/3 page.
Yeah, I'm saying you're pretty close there. That's good.
Your head is so big now, Eric. I don't think you can fit through a regular door.
You know what? And when I went and bought myself, 5, 6, 7 copies of this, and I put it up there on the counter at Kroger's and stuff, and I kind of just flared it out like that. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Did I open that up?
Yeah, when you pasted it to the windshield of your car, though, I thought that was carrying it a little bit too far.
But you know what? Just as we said, and I kind of foreshadowed this, right there, do you know what gun I'm holding there, Popo, in the front page of the Columbus Dispatch?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a gun that I got for Christmas right there. Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, you didn't. Linda doesn't know that you. Okay, I forget about that. Yeah,
that was a Santa.
All right. Santa brought that. No, okay.
Well, we're talking about if you didn't see it out there, we were very fortunate to have a front page article this week, actually on January 2nd.
And not just the front page; it spills over to A7 back there too.
Right.
So you got some coverage there.
Yep, and it was a good article on something we've talked about for about 7 years now, this stolen gun database. And, it's a big deal.
The lack of a stolen gun. So we want to let people know that there is no stolen gun database. That's what we're
right. And it's not the
about.
cure-all. It is one piece of the puzzle. We've said that from all along. But great attention. We actually did a story that evening with Channel 4. And Attorney General Yost was on that as well.
Good.
So getting a lot of good momentum on that. So it'd be a good thing. It'd be hopefully something that we can get accomplished this year, 2020. So
that would be something that would benefit everybody,
yeah,
except the bad guys.
Well, you can keep that if you want there.
Eric, I think I threw my paper away.
Is it in the bottom of your bird cage? Is that where it is? So, yeah.
Well, we are the owners of LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility and are active law enforcement. But for 1 hour on Saturdays, we put together a group of firearm experts to discuss new products in the market, training tips, and oftentimes political topics surrounding the Second Amendment. Our commitment, though, has always been to bring you the facts about our industry and ultimately help our listeners and our customers with safe, responsible ownership of firearms. For years, guys, we've heard of sanctuary cities for individuals, and mostly it was for individuals who are not here legally in the United States, or oftentimes it's sanctuary cities for drug offenses where prosecutors and mayors have refused to prosecute certain laws on the books. And historically, just fact, they've come from left-leaning politicians. So when you go look into the sanctuary cities for illegal immigrants or drug, some of these drug sanctuary cities, they're typically Democratic cities or ones that are
just about 100%.
It's just how it is. It's just not passing judgment.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. Well, now we're seeing the other side of the political spectrum use this technique to declare cities and counties across the country as Second Amendment sanctuary cities. Kind of interesting, and they're really taking a stance against some of these crazy politicians who seem to be ignoring the will of the people and threatening some pretty outlandish laws that would overnight make citizens who are law-abiding citizens criminals.
And in the thousands, the tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of law-abiding all your life, may never have a speeding ticket, but now you're a felon if some of these go into effect.
Right. So today we're going to talk about that. We're going to see what this means, if they're more symbolic in nature, or if they really truly do have merit, and are the politicians listening, which we hope they are. Some of the first results, though, don't seem very good.
No.
I mean, the politicians have seemed to up the ante. So it will be interesting to see how it shakes out this year. But we're going to talk about that at 12:30. Before that, JC and Jackson Egress Windows will have the Gun of the Week. JC, I'll have to say you've been kind of silent on this one this week.
Well, yeah, and actually, yeah, we'll get into that. Okay, but there's some great history to this, and that's what I'm kind of looking forward to. So.
Yeah, it's neat. It's one that has this particular item. Doesn't necessarily have history to it, but it has.
But what
roots.
it's developed from, the
exactly.
roots, exactly. American history. That's what we like.
Yep. So that's coming up at 12:20. We'd like to thank our sponsors. Can someone say sponsors?
Easy for you to say, right?
Jeez, I guess. Our sponsors, Rampart Hosting, Toyota West, Jackson Lawn Care and Egress Windows, The Trigger Group, Black Wing Shooting Center, River's Edge Cutlery, CNS Engraving, and LEPD Training Facility, all who make the show possible each week. Joining me today in the LEPD studios is JC from the sales team. JC, I tell you what, and this is, I hate to even do this, I am busting at the seams to want to talk about something that I know that you know what I'm talking about, but I can't talk about it.
Right. Yeah, that's always the worst one.
We got asked this week to host something that is very neat.
Very neat.
It's very honorable to even be asked to host this. And this is happening quick. It's happening soon, probably in the next couple of weeks. So hopefully it's something that we can talk about going forward, or certainly after it's done, we can talk
after
about
it's done, we can talk about it, right?
So, but it's really an honor to have been asked to do this. So, we will definitely keep everyone informed as we can.
Looking forward to it.
Talk about it. Paul sits to my left, and I actually gave you a gun this last week. You know,
it would mean more, Eric, if the gun worked. You know.
It works. The bullets don't.
You just can't put bullets in the cylinder.
Well, that's just most. 5 out of the 6 cylinders you can.
Yeah. It's only a 5-shot.
Oh.
I've got one like that. It holds 6 out of 8. So there you go.
Yep. I don't know. Maybe if we have somebody who's qualified that can ream out that cylinder a little bit, or whatever.
I think we need to get the Dremel.
I guess.
Get the old Dremel out.
But anyways, thank you. I appreciate it.
It is kind of neat, little gun.
It's a nice paperweight, and actually, I think I showed that to you, John. That was the first revolver that, not that actual one, but that was the same make and model of the first revolver that I ever had and carried.
Yep. That's a cool little pistol.
It is, and they're neat. I mean, I've had them over time. It's the
H&R
732, maybe.
732, 32 caliber, very inexpensive,
and
but
very well made.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, if you missed a show, you can always catch the podcast. That's at 610wtvn.com. It's on iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Google Podcasts, my favorite place to listen back to the show each week. Facebook Live, great place to watch the show. You can see the gun of the week right here before it happens. You can see some of the items we pass around and some of the new items we talk about live right here on the studio desk. And And I'm reading people through Facebook here saying, "Don't call it a paperweight, Paul." But if you what's that?
Did I say that? The paperweight? I'm sorry.
Come on. And but the shows out there also after the show's long over with, you can go out there to YouTube and watch it. You can go out there to Facebook and watch it. So
excellent.
Yep. And going forward this year, we're going to even up the ante a little bit more, have a little bit nicer set, and so you'll see some changes here going forward.
Well, there we go.
So, JC, it is that time for some of the news, and wow, there was some. I am going to try to hold back on some of it because some of it is just frustrating as all get out. But I'll let you take the lead.
All right. Well, there's so many things going on out there, but the big elephant in the room recently that just happened less than a week ago was the Texas church shooting. So, once again, this has happened, but there's good news to this. The good news is, we're certainly sorry. A shooter came in. He was, I guess, actually sitting in the pews of the church. He's someone that was known to the church people, and they had actually been trying to help him out with food. This happened in White Settlement, Texas. Certain most people who've turned on the news have heard about this. He, 43-year-old man who stood up. He was wearing an outfit. It looked like he was in the Wizard of Oz with the flying monkeys or something. He seemed to have a dark, almost like a cloak on. They said he had a fake beard, a wig, and a pointed kind of hat on, or maybe it was the hood of the thing that looked pointed. But he was known to the church. They went in and talked to him. This was during the services, and he backed up, pulled out a shorter barrel 12-gauge shotgun. And when one of the volunteers, once he saw that, kind of stood up and grabbed his own gun and kind of slowly, without doing anything, went to pull it out. And the guy shot him with a 12-gauge and double-aught buck, and then shot the other gentleman that was closest to him that was initially talking to him. But within 6 seconds, this was all over because another volunteer, his name was Jack Wilson, 71-year-old gentleman, happened to be not only a firearm instructor but owned a shooting range and was an auxiliary sheriff's deputy. And he drew his what we believe to be the SIG 229.
I think so.
In 357 SIG, and one shot over 50 feet with people in his way. He said that he had to wait just for a brief second. Now, this was all over in 6 seconds from all the shots that were fired, but brought him down with a headshot at about 50 feet, even through a crowd of folks. But boom, that was it. 6 seconds, it was all over. Horrible thing to happen. But what was that came out of it was Texas recently passed a law this last year, so in 2019, passed a law that would allow churchgoers who are licensed, had training, concealed carry, to carry in sanctuaries as long as the church permitted it. And I think when you see the videos on this, I said after the shooting there were 6 additional parishioners who actually pulled guns, and I loved it because they were pointed at the ceiling. They were there and went to do follow-up if a follow-up was needed. It wasn't.
Or follow-up assailants. You never know.
Follow-up assailants, right. This is, you never know. But I love the way they acted. They came, they put up, they advanced towards it. But so that was a really, really big deal. And
it showed how important it is to think about these things long before they happen. The church had a security team in place. They trained. Obviously, this gentleman had trained. You need to take it serious. And we still see it so often in not just churches, but, institutions around town who don't take it serious. They want to just say, oh, if it happens here, it happens. And that's not me. If it happens here, then I'm going to take care of the situation, And so we applaud the church for doing that. And we have some here that are equally as prepared. So that was a good thing.
And that was a good thing. But but the elephant in the room is why did this guy even have his gun to begin with? Because if you look at the history of this individual, I hate to even mention his name on there, but this 43-year-old disturbed person, his history.
It's incredible.
It's incredible. Just incredible. Court records show that the guy was, as they say, deeply troubled long before the attack. In 2012, a judge in Oklahoma ruled him mentally incompetent to stand trial for two, what would have been felonies that he had committed. He was charged with a felony assault and battery with a dangerous weapon after he attacked a donut shop owner in 2011 in Oklahoma. And then he was charged the same year with arson, where he burned down he started a cotton field on fire with oil lamp, and a forensic psychologist examined him for both of these cases and said that he had substantial mental illness and that it met the inpatient criteria. So the judge ordered him into a psychiatric hospital.
So a couple years later, though,
well, he got out, and he got out because he was found to be competent, and then he stood trial for these two felonies. And
I mean, these are horrible felonies.
Yeah,
I mean,
with a weapon, he assaulted.
And you would think that a logical, reasonable politician would see that no gun laws, all the gun laws they have, is not going to stop something like that.
He was institutionalized, and they got out, stood trial for these felonies, and then what did they do? They pled him down to misdemeanors, and out he went.
Misdemeanors.
What? Yeah. And someone who had severe mental problems. He had two wives. Both wives said he was absolutely stark, raving mad. One said, look, he's violent. He's a paranoid. He has a long line of assault and battery with and without firearms.
Really?
And that the other one just said he was really, really disturbed. And
but
so
when you go down through his record, in 2016. In Jersey, he was charged with unlawful possessions of a firearm. Of course, that got pled down to criminal trespass.
In New Jersey.
In Texas, he was charged with aggravated assault, but that got pled down. I mean, when are we going to get serious and stop the craziness of the all-out assault on civilians who are reasonable people owning firearms and not make the hammer go down on these people like this? It's outrageous.
And of course, this is what drives us all crazy. Just like what happened in the Parkland shooting over there. You have encounters with police. You have judges who say, look, this person's crazy, needs to be institutionalized. Yet he, somehow, how he got the guns, don't know, but he had them. His wife said he had them. But they want to disarm the entire America because we've had this guy. He could have just been incarcerated for what he committed. But no, they want to take it away from us when it's the system that let him back out.
I would be looking up every one of those judges and putting them on notice that you are responsible or partly responsible for this. It's out of control, the amount of what we're doing in society today.
Crazy.
When we come back from the break, we're going to talk a little bit about some other news out there and then get to JC's Gun of the Week. We're on Target, broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms and Range. We're right back.
Saving usually means lowering your expectations, settling for less. But no one ever got less and thought, good for me. Now you can save on all your favorite stuff without giving anything up. Surf, swipe, and stream as much as you want with WoW Internet for only $34.99 a month, with no data caps and our 2-year price lock guarantee. These are savings you can count on. Learn more at wowway.com.
Wow.
Offer for new customers with a 2-year agreement. Auto pay and paperless billing. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Subject to change. Restrictions apply.
Okay, you know how it feels when you've saved enough for that long-awaited home edition? Now imagine an edition on that edition. That's the feeling with Capital One, where a new savings account earns an interest rate 5 times the national average. That's right, 5 times, as represented by 5 times more singers. This is banking reimagined. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Rate comparison based on FDIC national rate. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
From iHeartRadio, #1 for podcasts, Monster, DC Sniper.
I don't think America has ever gone back to the way that it was before the DC Sniper.
A man has been killed in front of me.
The gunman, most likely a skilled marksman, fired 6 times in the course of 16 hours.
He was a psychopathic, cold-blooded killer.
Your ABC 6 first warning weather for today. Light rain this morning, changing to a few snow flurries later. Temps slowly falling throughout the day, the high of 42. Tonight, drizzle and a few flurries ending overnight. Low of 28. For Sunday, a mix of sun and clouds. Brisk and chilly, though, high of 41. It is currently 40 degrees on your severe weather station, News Radio 610 WTVN.
Breaking news and traffic and weather every 10 minutes. News Radio 610 WTVN.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think
Kind of makes you want to take a nap, Papa.
I tell you, I didn't like that song when it first came out, years ago. But then when it was on Good Morning Vietnam with Robin Williams, then I kind of fell in love because it fit into that scene. Yeah, it's kind of neat. Louis Armstrong.
Yep. Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric, joined today in the LAPD studios with JC from the sales team, my father and co-owner Phil. Getting caught up on some news, and I'm going to stay back off my high horse here for a second. JC, I'm going to let you talk about some of the other news that is out there.
All right. I just to follow up with the church shooting, as we mentioned, that Texas had just passed a law allowing parishioners to carry. Their attorney general just said, hey, look, we can't prevent every incident. We can't prevent mental illness from occurring, and we can't prevent every crazy person from pulling a gun, but we can be prepared like this church was. And the other thing, President Trump tweeted, of course, he's big on the tweeting, but this one is a great one. The quote was, if it were not for the fact that there were people inside of the church that were both armed and highly proficient in using their weapon, the end result would have been catastrophic. A big thank you to them, Trump tweeted. So, and that's kind of how we feel about it, too.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
One last thing, JC, we're talking about pardons and not in sanctuary areas and so forth. It's worth noting that Chicago, in Illinois, actually, has now pardoned over 11,000 people. The governor did this, okay? The new governor.
11,000
people who had prior drug convictions. And because they're apparently making marijuana legal there now because they don't have enough problems, so they thought maybe this will help.
Yeah.
And so they've pardoned these 11,000 people. And the quote that came out from the office was that finally, for those who were unfairly targeted by discriminatory drug laws. So I guess, how does that work? How is that discriminatory drug law? You decide to light up the doobie. So how is that? I don't get it.
What is that? Light up what?
Doobie.
The doobie. Okay.
Yeah, like the Doobie Brothers. Yeah.
Okay.
So how is that discriminatory? I don't get.
But it is, Eric. If it's more one race versus another,
Oh, so that's how they get that?
I think so.
I don't know.
I guess I fail to understand, but
there you go.
But
but it's
if
happening not just in Chicago.
Right, you're
a
right.
lot of places, even Columbus. Heck, now you can not get arrested unless you have over 20 joints or something with you.
20 joints, 21 joints. We draw the line. JC.
But other than that,
that's it.
$10 fine if you have that.
Really?
So, yeah. $10 fine.
You keep on paying the fine. You can.
There you go.
Just like I used to stop people with no front plate.
Yep.
And they have a real fancy car and everything, sports car. And the guy says, hey, it doesn't look good on the front. I said, as long as you can keep on paying the fine.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think that's changing this year. I think it's going into effect.
But there's a but.
Yeah,
the governor wants to look at that again.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So, JC, what other uplifting
here's
story?
That's pretty uplifting, I guess. For those of us who've really have reveled in owning a python, a Colt python, and once they stopped making it was considered to be the Cadillac of all the line of Colt, and since they haven't been made, the prices have gone up, pretty high on these. Well, guess what? Colt saw how popular these were, and they have announced that they are going to resume production of the Colt Python this year. It's going to be in stainless steel only, with a 4 1/4 or a 6-inch barrel length. Those two will be available. They said they have modern stainless steel alloys, a redesigned rear sight, 30% more steel beneath the adjustable target sight gives you a stronger revolver and more robust shooting experience. I never heard anybody that thought that the Colt Python was not robust, but 30% more. So recessed crown barrel, interchangeable front sight, that'll be a little bit different. But anyway, they're announcing that, and the supposed suggested retail price will be like $1,500. So, but that's kind of big news that Colt would be
it is
coming out with the Python. So
I'm not sure I like the new Colts,
Nah, I'm not.
It just seemed like it's lacking. Yeah. And Tom, by the way, that goes on under your shirt, okay? Under the shirt. Okay, that's just not a good look.
Ruger's also coming out with two announcement of two different guns. It's kind of that time of year because SHOT Show's right around the corner.
Yeah.
But they're coming out with an LCP2, so the little, it's historically been the little 380 and a 22.
And a 22. How
which
about
is
that?
Kind of neat.
Yeah.
And they're also coming out with the 5.7, which is first time anyone other than FN that I know of has come out with a pistol, a semi-auto pistol.
Rock Island Armory had their it's not a 5.7. Yeah, that was their version of the 5.7. Pardon me. So right, this will be the first time. You're right.
So it'll be interesting. It'll be quite a bit less expensive than FN. So it'll be interesting to see.
It'll be really interesting to see. Yeah. So that's quite a cartridge. Yeah. So we're really looking forward. And SHOT Show's around the corner. So we'll have fun
we're excited about that. JC, you got 1 minute left. You
got
anything there?
Well, yeah. This is really a big deal. I was going to spend more time, but we'll cover it in a minute. SIG has introduced a new rifle called the Cross Rifle, but part of it is it's available in its new caliber called the 277 SIG Fury. What's so incredible about it is Sammy Specs have capped the pressures of a firearm cartridge when it goes off at 66,000 pounds per square inch. This cartridge ups it to 80,000 pounds per square inch. And why did they do that? It's because the U.S. military put out an order and said they want a new belt-fed machine gun, and it's going to be in a 277 caliber, which is 6.8 millimeter. And because of that, SIG is one of the three in the finalists. They are introducing this cartridge, which have been in, and millions and billions of rounds have been ordered by the federal government for testing. So it's going to be a belt-fed machine gun, but this cartridge will be available to you to have in this new, really super strong rifle, because 80,000 PSI is bumping it up. So look for that to become a SAMI official cartridge this year. Wow. And they said they're going to make the cartridge and the gun whether or not the military purchases their belt-fed machine gun. So they said this one's here to stay. So it's called the 277 SIG Fury. You should look it up. It's kind of a really cool little 6.8 millimeter cartridge. So
when we come back from the news, we're going to talk about JC's Gun of the Week and then get into sanctuary cities for Second Amendment rights. We're on Target, broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms and Range. We'll be right back after the break.
Hi, I'm Rick Germain from the all-new Toyota West, and we're starting off the year with huge savings during our grand opening sales event. Visit the all-new Toyota West off I-270 and Georgesville Road.
How are we sounding there, man?
Or get started at ToyotaWestOhio.com.
Yep.
Hi, I'm
whenever we're breaking up, I'm unplugging this computer real quick. I did not do it this time because I didn't see your message quick enough.
Crawl space problems? No problem.
Just let me know. That seems to clear it up.
Get Nature Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Your concrete is cracked, uneven, and not safe. Paints and poly coatings don't last, are slippery, and give worthless warranties. Nature Stone permanently corrects cracked, uneven concrete, eliminates slipping hazards, and is easy to clean. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, there are no hidden maintenance costs. Act now and save up to 50% with our volume discount pricing. Must be installed by the end of January. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
We might do kind of a short segment here, just for John's Gun of the Week, and then go to break, and then have the last
police have arrested a
chunk
suspect
for the
in the
sanctuary
brutal rape
city
of
stuff.
a woman in Edgewater Park. Amber Shepard Jr. charged with rape, kidnapping, and felonious assault. He allegedly kidnapped the victim from a Burger King Sunday, took her to the park, then hit her in the head with a rock before sexually assaulting her. Police say he was identified as a suspect because he has his name tattooed on his right arm. Lucas County officials urging residents to participate in the 2020 census. County leaders say the census will help determine how much money Lucas County gets from the federal government. Ohioans might be able to catch a bald eagle in the skies over the next few weeks. The State Department of Natural Resources saying nesting season starts next month, and the birds are active up until then. And if you frequent the Chapel Hill Mall in Akron, some good news, you still can. The issue with the mall's water bill apparently resolved, so the mall won't be shutting down after all. I'm Kyle Cornell.
Saving usually means lowering your expectations, settling for less. But no one ever got less and thought, good for me. Now you can save on all your favorite stuff without giving anything up. Surf, swipe, and stream as much as you want with WoW Internet for only $34.99 a month, with no data caps and our 2-year price lock guarantee. These are savings you can count on. Learn more at wowway.com.
Wow.
Offer for new customers with a 2-year agreement. Auto pay and paperless billing. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Subject to change. Restrictions apply.
Sound the alarms. We've got a jackpot alert. Prepare to take action. The Powerball jackpot is up to $237 million. The next drawing is tonight, so don't wait. Get your Powerball tickets now. And did you know that in the last 6 months, players have won over $1 billion in prizes playing all our games? People are winning in record numbers, and winning is everywhere. Buy your tickets today.
Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Please play responsibly.
Time to replace your furnace? Contact Fire and Ice Heating and Air at indoortemp.com.
Live from LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric, joined today in the LAPD studios with my good friend, JC from the sales team. My father and co-owner, Phil, is still in the studio. He's out there shaking hands. He oftentimes does that on commercial breaks.
Well, he calls himself the Holster King, and he's with a customer right now, and guess what? They're discussing holsters. So,
right, go figure.
So doing his job.
Go figure. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms and Range. If you've never been here, it's at 999 Bethel Road. Definitely a neat place to come check out. The studio is right here in the middle of the showroom. We're on Facebook Live. What more could you want? Great inventory.
We're on iTunes too, aren't we?
We're on iTunes. We're on Google Podcast. And it's all right here on Bethel Road. So, JC, it is that time for the Gun of the Week, sponsored by Jackson Egress Windows. This one, you know what? It's unique, and I love stuff with history. And Smith & Wesson, along with one of the distributors, came back out with this kind of in honor of what this used to be.
The original one.
And I'll let you take it from there and tell people what you have.
Okay. Well, the Gun of the Week, which we can't have the Gun of the Week, but we do have a newer version of it. The Gun of the Week is the Smith & Wesson Model 39 Hush Puppy. Okay, so what's that? Well, the Model 39 actually came out, it's a lot older than a lot of people think. It came out in 55, they developed it. 57 is, it was on the market in 57. And it was a 9mm 8-shot semi-automatic that Smith & Wesson made in their early generations. And it was out there, but in the 50s, it just didn't have much following. And they said it just kind of basically laid dormant. Until 1967. In 67, the Illinois State Police were the first department in the United States of America to go from revolvers to semi-automatics, and they adopted the Model 39 as their official firearm for the Illinois State Troopers. And because of that, some of the troopers, they have some relatives and stuff in the Navy. Vietnam was going on, and they said, hey, maybe you want to take a look at this. So the Navy, someone in the Navy said, yeah, we'll order a few of these just to try them out. Well, these where it went was the Special Forces unit. The Navy SEALs were just getting really established in Vietnam in the 60s. So they took this Smith & Wesson Model 39 and said, hey, we'll give it a try, because they were using Swedish K machine guns a lot, and the Navy SEALs have a really reliable semi-automatic or fully automatic machine gun using 9mm, and they thought it'd be a good combination. But they liked it enough that they said, you know what, we need some really specialized weapons for the SEALs that will be coming out of the water and, operating in covert operations. And the Viet Cong were using a lot of sentry dogs, things like that, to let them know when things were amiss. So they've modified this Model 39. The thing that was interesting about it was Smith & Wesson went back, modified it, so instead of an 8-round magazine, it actually accepted the 13-round Browning high-power mags in there, and it had a really, really efficient suppressor that was only good for 24 to 30 shots, and it had to be replaced. But because it was used to silence sentry dogs, they called it the Hush Puppy. It's also used to silence other people, too. So it was very, very, very popular. It didn't make it into the public. One of the articles that I read said that there's only 2 that are known outside of the military that are in private collections. Nothing's legal. It just has a suppressor on it, in which anyone can, purchase one of those, going through the paperwork. But it was a great, great gun. It got really, rave reviews by the military. Not that many were made, but they were used by the Navy SEALs. So it's one of those mythic guns that was there in the past. And for those of us of that Vietnam age, looking around here, I think I see a couple walking around our showroom floor right now. It's always one of those guns that was out there. Well, this company came up with using the Smith & Wesson and said, hey, we had it then. One of the reasons it was so silent, I guess I should say that, the actually slide locked, so you couldn't hear the slide acting, and that's made more noise actually than the suppressed weapon. So it had a lock on the slide that you would put it in the notch, and it became a single shot. So the next shot you'd have to manually charge it again, lock it up, but that kept all the noise down to practically nothing. So what happened is a group said, we're going to they call themselves the Hush Puppy Project. They worked with Smith & Wesson, and they have come out with the new Hush Puppy, which we happen to have one here in the store for sale. And they have taken, Smith & Wesson has taken their really popular, really dependable, their M&P 9 series, and this happens to be the latest one, the 2.0. is what they've done. Lifetime warranty. Actually, our range manager carries one. They're great firearms. Well, they have taken this and they have modified it to have the same features that the original Model 39 Hush Puppy had, which was a threaded barrel, obviously, for the can. They put raised sights on it, so you can actually use the sights, and they stick up far enough that they look over the dimension of the can that would be the suppressor that would be on the front. But the other thing that really makes it unique is the fact that they've modified the slide, and it does have a slide lock that effectively makes it a single shot. So you will not hear, they said it's as silent as the silencer. You will not hear the slide rack or open. And so this is basically a brand new version, and it's just the Hush Puppy Project version of the Smith & Wesson. And it's really kind of cool. So if you want that nostalgia in a modern gun that comes with two 17-round magazines and adjustable back straps, they're just neat. Great gun. But
couldn't I accomplish the same thing by putting some duct tape around the slide?
That's one way too. Maybe you could do that. You and Red Green. There would be the only two people I know that would attempt to put duct tape to keep it on there. But this it's a regular Smith & Wesson. So but we have a new one right here. Yep. It's really cool to see. And if you happen to have a suppressor, it really makes this effective. So just like the Navy SEALs used in the 60s. Actually, it was used from 67 to 82 before it was replaced with an H&K version.
Good gun of the week, JC. Yeah. That is good.
The big difference is that a lot of this firearm is polymer, where the Model 39 back then was a man's gun.
Yeah, it was a man's gun.
Okay, all right.
It is true.
And a little bit of trivia, the Model 59, which was a double-stack magazine, they've commercially made that since they already were making them for the Navy SEALs. They decided just to make those too. So they're really good gun.
Good gun of the week. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about sanctuary cities for Second Amendment rights. We're on Target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LEPD Firearms Range. We'll be right back after the break.
From light flurries to raging blizzards, get the latest weather reports right here. News Radio 610 WTVN.
Hey, it's Matt McCoy for Universal Windows Direct. Well, the days are shorter and the weather is cold. Welcome to a Columbus winter. Don't get caught with old leaky windows. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct, who have the most energy-efficient windows on the market. And when you buy one window, you get the next free with no limit. So say you need 10 windows, you're only paying for 5. There's 0% financing for 36 months and a true lifetime warranty. Call now for your free in-home estimate at 614-221-0700 or go to universalwindowsdirect.com. Universal Windows Direct. I love my windows.
New year, new you, new car. Let Miracle Motor Mart help. With 2 locations, our locally owned and family-operated business is always close by. And you can see our huge inventory at miraclemotormart.com, where you're sure to find something you love. That's miraclemotormart.com.
Dormar, your climate hero.
Need emergency repair? Dormar Heating and Air Conditioning can be there today, guaranteed. Find us at dormarheating.com.
Dormar, your climate hero.
Getting the cold shoulder? Call Care Heating and Cooling and we'll fix your furnace fast. Call 1-800-COOLING.
News headlines and where Columbus comes to talk. News Radio 610 WTVN.
A winter's day,
in a deep and dark December.
I am alone.
Welcome back to On Target. That's from Phil Edwards' Oldies, Volume 3. If you didn't get it in your stocking this year.
Simon and Garfunkel.
That's right. I am going to publish those.
You are?
I am. I'm going to have those
really
available.
should,
I don't think we can sell them, but
you won't sell
I can give them away.
Yeah, we'll make one for you. I love those songs. Those are
you know the danger in playing those, Eric? I'll sing along with them.
Well,
know?
I see that. I know.
And if you're going to start, and if you're going to continue doing this,
yeah,
you better bring in the recordings of you and Amy singing along too.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wasn't bringing in your recording. I'm just bringing in your songs.
All right.
Oh, I can dig deep. Welcome back to On Target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms and Range and Training Facility. We're right here on Bethel Road. If you're in the area, stop by and check us out. By now, everyone's heard of sanctuary cities, typically ones in which politicians in that city have come out and said they're refusing to enforce a particular law that they don't agree with. Most of the times, it's in regards to illegal aliens, and these cities have blatantly shown no regard for federal law that are there intended to protect us, and they've simply instructed their local law enforcement to not enforce the laws. We've also seen it now with left-leaning prosecutors from cities such as Baltimore, Boston, Detroit, and now to varying degrees in Chicago, coming out and saying they're no longer going to prosecute certain crimes that they don't feel need prosecuted. And this was, the ones in Boston were theft and, home invasion, and it was incredible.
Just incredible. It absolutely. I just don't even understand where they're coming from. It's just crazy.
It is. But we're also seeing another trend emerge. And how ironic that the same left-leaning politicians who support these other sanctuary cities are now going crazy. They're furious that these cities are coming out and saying we are now going to be a sanctuary county or a sanctuary city in regards to Second Amendment. And any law that's put into place that's going to impede upon our Second Amendment right to owning a firearm, we're not going to obey it. And it is having all kinds of ripples within the political.
Now, this is a big. What was some of their remedies if counties do that?
Well, the big one, this is really coming to a head in Virginia.
In Virginia,
and
it's really,
Virginia, I don't know if it was the mayor or the governor himself.
The governor and the attorney general.
We're going to bring out the National Guard.
Well, that was an option. So he didn't say it was recommended to him by a one of the Democratic senators.
I think
who said that, hey, you have the right to. I don't know if he's a senator or representative. His name is McEachin. I think he may be a representative. Anyway, he said, hey, you have the right to activate the National Guard, ensure that these are enforced. And I was going to say, really? We're going to have MRAPs and armored personnel carriers going down the street, house to house?
And I'm not even sure that they can legally do that, but and that would be devastating if they did something like that.
The thing is, we've already seen it through stories today. We can't even enforce what we have on the books to criminals, let alone trying to tie up law-abiding people who are now in possession of something that was legal yesterday, who they bought it in good faith yesterday, who've never committed a crime, who are now a felon. How do they even fathom prosecuting those? They can't even keep straight the ones they should prosecute.
And the big picture, why do the Democrats want to disarm the American people when you have and our Second Amendment, and these aren't, someone is mistakenly said, well, they gave us those rights. No, those amendments from the Bill of Rights, these are rights you already have. They're not given to you. These are what you have, the right to defend yourself, the right to keep and bear arms, yet they want to take them away. So, and it's so funny with just what you said. Hey, we are sanctuary. These illegal aliens, that's okay, we're going to protect them. But these are legal rights that you have, and they're going, well, no, you're not going to do that. And it's taken off like wildfire. The Second Amendment, counties and states. So
I made some notes earlier in the show, and it sounds like that you're a little bit disturbed and angry over this stuff.
I'm angry.
Yeah. Maybe even a little bit paranoid. So would you go out and shoot up a church or something? Because that's the terms that we gave to that person that went in the church.
Right.
That he was disturbed, angry, and paranoid. Well, I'm disturbed, angry, and paranoid, but I don't go. But I don't go shooting up any place.
Well, and you know, they said he had mental health issues. Which since when does shooting up determine that you have mental health issues? Is that now a criteria? I mean, that you've chosen to be a criminal, and now all of a sudden that is the mental health issue itself. I don't know. So, JC, Virginia.
All right.
Talk about where the counties now lying there.
Well, it's the latest count which that I have was from the 28th of December. So, and at that time, again we talked about there's 95 counties in Virginia. 87 of them have declared themselves as Second Amendment. 87%. So in the United States, I mean they're leading as far as that goes. At 92% of their counties have declared. In addition to that, they have some independent cities. They have 38 independent cities. 11 of those, that's 29% of the independent cities, and 92% of the counties have declared themselves Second Amendment sanctuary, meaning that they are not going to, just like with the illegal aliens, they are not going to prosecute, not going to spend time and effort sorting this out. And this is really ticked off this new governor that came in with his new attorney general. And on December 19th, the Attorney General just issued this opinion saying, nope, your sanctuaries are null and void. We don't care what the people think. This is what we're going to be doing. And his quote was, when the General Assembly passes a new gun safety law, they will be enforced and they will be followed. And the resolutions have no force, that the Second Amendment resolutions, they're just part of an effort by the gun lobby to stoke fear. Well, yeah, well, he's the one saying we're going to be, we may be sending the National Guard in to go house to house. He also said that he was going to strip the legal authority of all the sheriffs and place in their own people to do this. So
the elected
didn't Hitler do this, and Stalin, and
now these are people that
this is elected. These are elected people, but we don't like who you elected. So as a governor, I'm going to take away their authority. I'm going to put my own puppets in there. I mean, this is happening in Virginia.
And these guys survive. They survive, and he'll probably move up the ladder in his political career. Oh man!
So JC, when
the
rubber meets the road, let's say these laws do go into place, and these cities are sanctuary cities, and the sheriffs have refused to enforce them. I'm assuming this is going to play out in the courts. I mean, it has to. I mean, you hope that
we'll see what goes on. And I love what he said. The governor said, "Oh no, we're not going to seek revenge." But we will cut all their funding, so they won't be able to do their court cases. They won't be able to. We're not doing revenge. We're just going to. Yeah, right.
That's called getting even or something.
Just to let you know, this is it's just catching on. Virginia's not the first. As a matter of fact, just 26 of our 50 states have at least some portion of that state declaring themselves as sanctuary for the Second Amendment, and it's catching on. I got to get these guys out of the way real quickly. Alaska, Idaho, Kansas, and Wyoming, way back in 2010 to 2014, had declared their states, saying, no, we have gun rights. Kansas is the Second Amendment Protection Act. Wyoming, the Wyoming Firearm Freedom Act. So these, before this all happened, those 4 states are already saying statewide, it's not county by county, but the local laws that have happened. I love California. California has one city. Needle City, California, has declared their city as a Second Amendment sanctuary. But I'll just give you the top 5 or 6. Virginia, as we said already, number 1, 92% of the counties have declared that. I'm going to include New York in here because New York, they passed the New York SAFE Act. And the SAFE Act basically said, hey, you can't own any ARs, any AKs, you can't have 30-round magazines, you can't do this. Well, the sheriffs, 84% of the sheriffs said they are not going to enforce
in New York
the law. So they haven't declared themselves Second Amendment sanctuary, but they said they are not going to enforce laws until a Supreme Court says that this is what we have to do. But that's a lot. 84% of the counties in New York.
Maybe that's the trick: is don't declare your sanctuary city or
just
county.
Don't do it.
Just don't enforce it.
But that's a huge percentage, and I was really surprised at that in New York. New Mexico, 79% of the counties had declared themselves Second Amendment. Illinois, which really used the term Second Amendment. That was the first state. They said that Effingham, Illinois, back in April 16th of 2018, the county board is reckoned to be the first one to use sanctuary Second Amendment in their resolution. They have 66% of the counties in Illinois have declared themselves Second Amendment cities. Nevada, 63%. Colorado, 59%. So those states, well over half of the counties, have declared themselves, and it's like I said, 26 states in the union have at least something going on here, and that does include the 4 states I mentioned that if they're statewide, they've already said, nah, these are rights that we have, and I love it. I love the fact that they said we're not going to enforce these laws. Ohio, we have to mention Ohio, because we're pretty much pro-gun as a state. As you mentioned, Eric, you said, well, some of these states you would think were, because they're low, like Kentucky, but because they already tolerate this and they're not going in that route. So the counties haven't declared. But in Ohio, one county, Meigs County, has declared themselves a Second Amendment sanctuary county, one out of the 88. But like you said, we don't need to, right now, we don't need to worry about that because that's what we have going. So anyway, the other one that surprised me, I will mention, because we talk about the East Coast and how bad it is, but there's the little state of Rhode Island, the very little state of Rhode Island. 33% of the counties there have declared themselves Second Amendment sanctuary counties in it's our last bastion on the East Coast border. So anyway, that's pretty cool. So
if these politicians would spend their time on sensible, coming to the table with people like us who know what can affect change, and rather than throwing these things out there where we're going to ban everything and no grandfathering. I mean, maybe we'd get something done,
And what have they done? I wish we could pay them for what they have done, because they've done nothing but try to take away gun rights, disarm the American people, and impeach the president when they're trying to pull stuff out of their places to do that.
That's right. So what else you got, Popo? Anything? You always have something on your...
No, not really. You and I both you're getting over the flu. I'm getting over a cold. And I think we've controlled our coughing pretty good here on the air.
We did. And I'm getting overweight.
Overweight?
Yeah.
I don't understand. But no.
Next week, guys, next week is a neat show. It's one of my favorite shows where we compile all the data from 2019 for everything we sold here at the store, and we talk about the most popular calibers, the trends in that, the most popular guns, all that good stuff leading into SHOT Show.
Just this morning, I found ours from 2014, 2015, and 2016 in my file. So I'll show you those.
Is anyone here going to the SHOT Show?
No, we should. We say it every year.
We say it every year.
Maybe we just need to throw all caution aside.
I suppose.
You go to the mini SHOT Show, though, right?
No, we haven't gone to anything. We haven't done anything in years now. So.
Right.
Yeah, but we will. I mean, in a couple of weeks, we get to report back on all the new things that are
and there'll be a boatload of new things out there. So pretty exciting stuff.
We are excited about that. So, yeah, you're not going to want to miss next week. I'm kind of excited to see the trends. I kind of suspect, what we're seeing caliber-wise and gun-wise. I think we've shifted from our number one gun in the store from the last couple of years to a new one now.
A new one now. By the way, we already have our first customer on the wait list for the new Colt Python. So so that's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Today
came in today and signed up. So
great, I might just see those.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
See, they haven't.
Keep your old original one, and you can buy one of these just to play.
When did they say they're coming out? Did they mention it?
They didn't. This is Colt, so they give you the teaser. They're probably going to see, what's running the flag up, see if anyone salutes. It'll be a bigger hit than I think than their Cobras and King Cobras will. So
right,
yeah, it still has that just mystic Colt Python. Yeah, so it's good enough for Rick of the Walking Dead, so it's got to be good enough for the rest of us, right?
That's right. All right, well, thanks for spending the last hour with us here. Stop by and see us. We still got a lot of sales left over from the holidays. Still have a bunch of ammo on sale. Still have some good deals on some firearms. There's some ones that we had, some AR kits, some Easy 380, some Shield.
We still have some
Easy. So there's some good stuff out there.
Some extras that are thrown in by the manufacturers that are really, really cool, especially on those AR Smith & Wessons, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you want to, if you're still in the market for something, stop on by and check us out. Also got a ton of classes that we're starting to pick back up again on. So something if you want to help your skills.
Absolutely.
And set,
everybody
something
here
that we can
is certified to teach, so we have a really great program. We really do. So
good
as
place.
far as training goes.
Well, have a good week. We will see you same time, same place next week. Stop
Happy
by and
New
see us.
Year.
Happy New Year.
From the Elk and Elk Studios, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK Ohio. News Radio 610 WTVN.
Mattress manufacturers often add bogus features such as copper, cooling gel, and even diamond dust, which add no real benefit to the consumer but increase the price of the mattress. At the Original Mattress
Did we make it
Factory,
in?
we stick to what works.
Yeah, give me
Hand-built
1 second.
mattresses and box
Sure.
springs built with the highest quality American materials. We don't add features that don't